Trump and the American people? Are they here to solve problems or just weaponize those problems for political purposes? I know my answer. I serve the American people. I'm here to solve problems.
Oh.
Senators are still trying to figure out a way to get Ukraine funding through the Republican-controlled House. Some suggested jettisoning the border portion from that package and advancing the aid on their own, but that idea also faces resistance.
Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Number 3, which reserves to this state the right of self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause Number 3, to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. The Texas Department of Public Safety and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority, as well as state law, to secure the Texas border. In plain English, the governor of Texas is saying here that because the federal government is experiencing something like a dereliction of duty, and that since they were not securing the border anyway, the state of Texas, they set up razor wire fencing and they deploy their own National Guard troops to stop the invasion, which they claim is well within their rights as per the U.S. Constitution. And as such, the state of Texas, even after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling, is working on installing more razor wire, while at the same time, the Attorney General of Texas, he came out and he said that Texas will continue to not allow federal agents into Shelby Park. Then, within just a few hours, what was just a battle between the state of Texas and the federal government, well, it suddenly escalated, and it began creating fault lines across the whole nation. That's because, on the one hand, you had Democratic lawmakers urging Joe Biden to go ahead and to take control of the Texas National Guard. For instance, here was a statement by Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas. Quote, Governor Greg Abbott is using the Texas National Guard to obstruct and create chaos at the border. If Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, the president needs to establish sole federal control of the Texas National Guard now. Likewise, you have Congressman Greg Casar, who's another Democrat from Texas, saying the following, quote, if Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, Biden needs to establish sole federal control of the Texas National Guard. Now, just for your general reference, in case you're not aware, the governor of Texas, he is the legal commander-in-chief of the Texas National Guard, but only when that National Guard is not being mobilized by Title 10 of the U.S. Code. It's sort of a feature of our federalist system of government. It means that the governor is the commanding authority over the National Guard troops when they are within the state's borders, but only during the period of time when they're not being mobilized by the U.S. Department of Defense, meaning the U.S. Pentagon. And so, for instance, right now, at this very moment, as we're making this episode, while the Texas National Guard troops are on state active duty, they are operating under Title 32, which means that they fall under the command of the Texas governor and they are paid by the state. But in theory, Joe Biden could federalize the National Guard, and in accordance with Title 10 of the U.S. Code, that would allow him, meaning Joe Biden, to in essence take control away from Greg Abbott and to take the direct command of the Texas National Guard. Now, at the moment, it's not clear whether that is something he would actually consider. I mean, after all, this is an election year, and seizing control of the Texas National Guard in order to force open the border, well, that probably will not play too well on the campaign trail. In fact, the only real statement that the White House has released on this particular issue, at least thus far, came from the White House spokeswoman who said this during an interview over on CNN. Quote, we want to make sure that we get something done at the border. That's why we have been having these conversations with Senate Republicans and Democrats for the past several weeks to come up with a bipartisan agreement to deal with the border. Look, if the governor is not interested in that, Governor Abbott is not interested in that, he wants to politicize an issue, and he's not helping communities, he actually isn't, and he's actually putting Border Patrol agents in harm's way by doing what he's doing, I'm not going to speak to any actions that the president might take, might not take, but we have been very clear about that. Joe Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. On the other hand, you have the governors of half the states in the nation siding with Texas in this ongoing battle. That's because just yesterday, the governors of 25 different states, they signed a joint letter supporting Governor Greg Abbott in his fight against the federal government. Essentially, this letter, it was signed by every Republican governor in the country except for one, except for Phil Scott of Vermont. And here's collectively what these Republican governors wrote in their collective letter. Quote, President Biden and his administration have left Americans and our country completely vulnerable to unprecedented illegal immigration pouring across the southern border. Instead of upholding the rule of law and securing the border, the Biden administration has attacked and sued Texas for stepping up to protect American citizens from historic levels of illegal immigrants, deadly drugs like fentanyl, and terrorists entering our country. We stand in solidarity with our fellow governor, Greg Abbott, and the state of Texas in utilizing every tool and strategy, including razor wire fences, to secure the border. We do it in part because the Biden administration is refusing to enforce immigration laws already on the books and is illegally allowing mass parole across America of migrants who entered our country illegally. The authors of the U.S. Constitution made clear that in times like this, states have a right of self-defense under Article 4, Section 4, and under Article 1, Section 10, Clause number 3 of the U.S. Constitution. Because the Biden administration has abdicated its constitutional compact duties to the states, Texas has every legal justification to protect the sovereignty of our state and our nation. Now, standing in solidarity is great, but in terms of actual practical support, well, President Trump weighed in on the matter, and he urged all these governors to actually send in their own National Guard troops to the U.S. southern border in order to assist the state of Texas. Quote, "We encourage all willing states to deploy their guards to Texas to prevent the entry of illegals and to remove them back across the border. All Americans should support the common sense measures by Texas authorities to protect the safety, security, and sovereignty of Texas and of the American people." And indeed, it looks like that's exactly what is going to happen. For instance, the governor of Oklahoma, he has just confirmed earlier today that he will be sending his own National Guard troops down to the state of Texas in order to protect the border. Take a look.
The former president, Donald Trump, has suggested to all the Republican governors out there, send members of your state's National Guard. In your case, Governor, it would be the Oklahoma National Guard. Send them down to Texas to help Greg Abbott. Are you going to do that?
Absolutely. You know, I've done it once before, and we're looking. I already talked to my TAG, my General Mancino. We've already started putting the numbers together. We'll be in contact with Governor Abbott.
Now, at this very moment, while we're filming this episode, Oklahoma is the only state to have made this commitment, but likely be troops to the border as well. And in the meantime, as things begin to develop in this country over support of Texas's decision, well, the term civil war has been ominously trending over on Twitter.
Oh my God.
The end election year. Although, just to give another side of the story and another side of the perspective, our reporter, who's actually on the ground over at Shelby Park, she was able to speak with Lieutenant Chris Alvarez of the Texas Department of Public Safety, and here's what he told us about the potential standoff between the state-level troops and the feds.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there is. I mean, there's been a lot of hype about that, you know, that there's going to be the situation, you know, with the feds, the state. Of course, those are higher-level decisions. I think at the lower level, at the ground level, with, you know, the Border Patrol agents, the soldiers, the troopers, rank and file, there's no issues whatsoever. We still work together. At the end of the day, we need one another. You know, we have one common goal, and that is to secure the border. So we'll continue working with each other.
And so there you have it. If you'd like to go deeper into the story, I'll throw all my research notes. They'll be down in the description box below this video for you to peruse at your own leisure. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epic Times. Stay informed. Most importantly, stay free.
It could bring in over $4 billion in revenue. Moving to Oklahoma, the Wild West of grow operations, authorities have flagged 3,000 marijuana farms for suspicious activity in recent years, and quite a large number of them are run by Chinese crime organizations. Oklahoma has closed almost 1,000 marijuana farms in the past 3 years, and at least 80% of them are tied to organized Chinese crime rings. Authorities say these criminals are laundering millions of dollars back to countries, including China. The pot problem is setting off alarm bells in Washington. Lawmakers are concerned that Beijing may be directly supporting the illicit Chinese marijuana operations across the U.S. 50 lawmakers are asking the Justice Department for a briefing by late February. Law enforcement officials have reported challenges in busting these networks. What's more, investigators have found these illegal Chinese pot grows are tied to forced labor and human trafficking. The U.S. State Department is announcing new visa restrictions targeting people linked to the abuse of commercial spyware. How does the new policy affect China? NTD's Sam Wong has more.
Malware installed on your personal devices could be tracking your activities in real time without your knowledge. A new visa restriction announced by the U.S. State Department will target just that. It's part of a larger effort from the Biden administration to bring consequences for abusing commercial spyware. On the receiving end, those involved in using spyware to monitor, harass, or intimidate people like journalists and dissidents. The policy will also target companies and investors who had facilitated or contributed to the problem. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that the misuse of spyware poses a national security threat to the U.S. It could also restrict freedom and enable human rights abuses. As for who could be on the list, the State Department will examine that on a case-by-case basis. Looking at possibilities, in 2024, Beijing launched a pressure campaign known as Operation Fox Hunt. The program was largely used to coerce Chinese dissidents in the U.S. to go back to China to face retaliation or convictions. Switching back to malware, Chinese cyber threats has long been on Washington's radar. Last week, FBI Director Christopher Wray warned lawmakers that China-backed hackers are working to, quote, wreak havoc on critical U.S. infrastructure. That includes water treatment plants, the electrical grid, transportation, oil pipelines, and many others. Wray also announced that the FBI had thwarted a hacking campaign codenamed Volt Typhoon. The group have attacked hundreds of office routers through malware to access their data. Sam Wang, NTD News.
A ranking Democrat on the committee. He says the Chinese regime used technology to interfere with Taiwan's presidential election, and it would be naive to assume the same tactics would not be applied here in the U.S. Chinese leader Xi Jinping reportedly told President Biden that China would not interfere in the upcoming U.S. election. Ahead of Taiwan's election, China's intelligence agency generated hundreds of videos attacking current President Tsai Ing-wen using AI anchors. Officials said China's goal was to damage William Lai's popularity. Krishnamurti said he's also concerned that Beijing could spread its influence on TikTok, a controversial app that's owned by a Chinese company. Right now, TikTok has become a major news source for a third of Americans under 30. Krishnamurti is concerned that TikTok could manipulate content related to different presidential candidates. Chinese stocks did see a rebound yesterday after a series of stimulus measures and state controls hit the market. We spoke with Frank Xie to understand the overnight stock gains and how he sees the measures impacting the market going forward. He's a professor of marketing at the University of South Carolina Aiken and an expert on China's economy.
China's benchmark
pushing for a bill to fight forced organ harvesting in China. That is, harvesting organs from victims without their consent, often while they're still alive. In 2018, an international tribunal in London ruled on allegations of forced organ harvesting. The tribunal was led by Sir Geoffrey Nice, the lead prosecutor on the trial of a former president of Yugoslavia, a now defunct communist state.
It is beyond doubt that forced harvesting of organs happened on a substantial scale and by state-organized or approved organizations and individuals.
$100 per pet. Each pet with a designated caregiver would be taxed $8.50 a year. Without a designated caregiver would be $25. It would apply to each individual pet. So if someone, for example, had numerous aquarium fish or an ant farm, it would apply to each one. Dogs and cats with a listed caregiver but are neutered would be $16 a year. Representative Regina English introduced the bill. She told Denver 7, quote, the idea behind it was to create a pet contingency plan for mainly senior people when they're in crisis or something happens. And they would have that person that would have guardianship over their pet if something happened, because we all know that our pet shelters are over capacity. Critics argued that it would create unnecessary government oversight and another tax burden. Colorado Representative Ty Winter posted on X, quote, the ruling class in Colorado have found a new way to dig into your pockets. HB 241163 requires all pets to be annually taxed and registered with the state. Following major backlash, English decided on Sunday to postpone the bill indefinitely. She told Denver 7, quote, I never would intentionally want a piece of legislation that's going to overburden, overtax, and put the people of Colorado in financial distress. Quite frankly, it just put the people of Colorado in an uproar. She said she originally wanted to amend the bill, but after discussions with colleagues, she decided to focus on other policies she plans on sponsoring this year. Jason Blair, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now,
What
everybody.
kind of
Here's a look at what we have for you when
gossip
we come
they
back.
got about the border?
A $20 million lottery ticket sold in Southern California. Could you be the lucky winner? Stay tuned for more on the numbers. A baby penguin chick joins the animal kingdom. This chick is the first of its kind hatched on the U.S. West Coast. The oldest living American celebrates her birthday. Cheers and festivities filled her California hometown despite the wet weather. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can with Smile Actives, the teeth whitening breakthrough that safely gets your teeth white and keeps them white every day, just by brushing your teeth.
I never thought that whitening my teeth could be so easy.
They
I
need
just
to
put the gel
close
on the
the
brush, the
border.
toothpaste on it, brush, and I can see my white teeth.
Simply add Smile Actives to any toothpaste, and our patented
They need to
polyclean
close the
technology
border.
activates into a powerful microfoam that penetrates into the enamel surface to safely lift and remove stains.
You need a simple way to whiten your teeth without strips, without trays, without going to the dentist. And it was about time that a product was developed that you would be able to do that with just brushing.
And now Smile Actives is even better with new Pro Whitening Gel with 33% greater whitening power, clinically shown to whiten teeth faster, up to 8 shades. 100% of users saw whiter teeth on food stains, coffee and wine stains, even on veneers, crowns, and dentures.
I eat the blueberries, I drink the coffee, and I know that Smile Actives will keep my teeth white every day.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Why spend hundreds of dollars for whitening treatments at the dentist when now you can whiten your teeth with new Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel every time you brush your teeth? Call or go to smileactives.com and for a limited time get new Pro Whitening Gel for just $24.95. Order in the next 5 minutes and buy one get one absolutely free for just $24.95. That's 2 for 1 and save 58%. We'll even include free shipping. Get your teeth whiter guaranteed or return it within 60 days for your money back.
I smile every day now.
The difference is literally night and day.
So now I'm always smiling, always choosing, because now my teeth are much whiter.
This offer is not available in stores, so call or click now before the special buy one get one free offer goes away.
Introducing
Propaganda.
NutriBullet RX. NutriBullet RX uses breakthrough smart extraction technology to down and open up foods like never before, giving us the most nutritious superfood drink ever, and get back to being healthy and well again.
My stomach issues literally went away. My shoulder pain has gone. I was able to sleep better at night.
I've lost 100 pounds.
During this TV offer, you can have the complete NutriBullet RX system rushed to your home for just 6 payments of only $29.99. You'll also receive this amazing bonus, the NutriBullet RX Hot Soup Maker. Just place it on the base, and the NutriBullet RX switches into soup mode to make hot, delicious, nutritious soup in an instant. You can have the complete NutriBullet RX system for just 6 payments of only $29.99. We'll ship the NutriBullet RX system right to your door for free. That's right, free shipping.
Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Lamb. Are you holding the $20 million Super Lotto Plus ticket? One lucky ticket was sold at a Southern California convenience store over the weekend. NTD's Christina Corona has more from Los Angeles.
The single winning ticket with all 6 numbers in Saturday's drawing was sold here in Los Angeles at Y&Y Market on West 39th Street. The winning numbers in the drawing were 2, 12, 18, 20, 44, and 4. 3 additional tickets sold in Southern California ranked in substantial winnings by correctly matching the initial 5 numbers. These 3 tickets were purchased at 7-Eleven on North Placentia Avenue in Fullerton, a mobile gas station on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles and a 76 gas station on Victory Boulevard in Woodland Hills. The odds of winning with a ticket from the California Super Lotto Plus lottery is 1 in 42 million. So make sure to check your Super Lotto Plus lottery ticket. All winners have 180 days from the drawing date to claim their prize. Christina Corona, NTD News.